Just seeing foot sweat in transparent shoes is not cute.
As a designer, I can't see past it.
Look at the skin.
Why is that there? Knows.
So this is a ring. Okay, here we go. So it's got a clock, it's got heart rate payments, so it's got some kind of NFC coil or something in it. Why do I need this? I also wonder, given that it's got these glyphs around the edge, is that for notifications? So is that linked to your phone? I suppose then it begs the question, do I also need my ring to be vibrating if my phone is already vibrating? There's a tendency these days to put notifications on everything. We've all had that feeling where like your phone rings and then your laptop rings and then a watch rings and it's like, oh my God, why is everything screaming at me?
I do wonder, does it need to do all these things? Or it just gives you a lot of freedom to wear the watch you want to wear and then wear the ring that does everything, and maybe that's pretty cool.
I've never tried one myself, but I'm just curious about battery life. Is it super chunky on the finger? And yeah, how much functionality from my smartphone it can bring without being something that distracts me as well.
How far can this go? So like, can I control my phone with this? Or like, let's say I buy some of like the Meta glasses, can I control them with this ring? You know, can I swipe on the ring that changes stuff and sort of like pare down some of those interactions?
The hand's freaking me out a bit. Look at the skin.
The person who chose needs some moisturizer.
Cool concept, good video, scary hand, but yeah, it's nice, good job.
So it's a VR headset with some decos on the outside. Yeah, overall it seems quite well put together as a concept. But I feel like aesthetically, the actual form of the VR goggles could look more interesting.
Okay, so we've got two stereo cameras, which remind me of Phone 2A. Although, why would you need 4 cameras? If you're wearing the goggles, you can't presumably see the LEDs. So what's the purpose of glyphs in this instance?
On the Vision Pro, they have the kind of uncanny valley eyes that fade in and fade out as you're using it. So maybe the glyphs could indicate to the people around you if you're locked in or if you're seeing them.
We actually try to not design decoratively at nothing. Everything we do is based on what the product is, what it does, and who it's for. My challenge to the designer would be, actually, what does it take to design a VR headset? What are the components that are inside? How can you tell the story of what that technology is and bring it to the surface?
It's quite funny that they've used the CE, the compliance label, but so prominently on the front of the headset. Why is that there? Knows. This is great. Okay, off the rip, I'm in the market for one of these. I'm super obsessed with those kind of flippy displays. Obviously we have one in the Soho store, the Flip Dot. And obviously when you go to a big old historic train station like in Paris and they've got the timetable boards with the mechanical flipping, this looks like a slightly more digital situation from what I can tell. And I don't think this would look out of place in our office or at our store, so really like this.
He or she has put Pong on it. I love that. That's great. I mean, obviously I don't know how you control it. Maybe it's like a gesture thing or iToy.
I think maybe this is a bit too big. I think it would be really nice if this was modular. So if I just wanted like a 8x8 grid that I could just put on my desk and it would make patterns and shapes, that would be great. And then if I go home and I want a huge one in the living room that does like various bits of like visual art, I could. But I think sort of mandating this huge panel is maybe not the right move.
I'm confused about this meeting complete and a bed. Is this like bedroom meetings that you're indicating? I'm not sure.
And having a status bar on a meeting is funny. Making it very clear to everyone in the room that they're running out of time to talk about stuff. So I do like that. Neat, nothing shoe. I'm game. Nike, please. I remember Tim Cook had like custom Nikes done by Nike for him a few months ago. I feel like Carpe deserves custom Nikes maybe. We have a few friends at Nike, so we can make it happen.
The obvious question I'd want to ask is, could these shoes be transparent? Particularly if you're not wearing socks. Is that really weird to see your feet through your shoes? Maybe, it might be kind of hot.
No, Nike have done transparent shoes in the past, but then after like a month, or even like after a few hours of wearing them, just seeing foot sweat in transparent shoes is not cute. CMF wise, I might execute it differently. I feel like Lucy might have some thoughts on the Louboutin-esque red soles. I would wear them at night if I had to like, I don't know, take the bins out really quickly. Oh! This looks like a wallet. That like Touch ID makes me think this is maybe like also an authenticator device. So if you know, rather than getting like a third factor authentication, can you use this, which I think is fun. I think it could go a bit further.
to sort of invite the user inside the product. Really like it. Good job, Ali.
It just seems like an ordinary object that doesn't necessarily kind of tell you what it is. So yeah, I think a lot of the things that I see on here seem to kind of have come from the thought that if you have a card wallet with you, it would be good to have like a screen on it that shows a weather, that shows your name, that shows something else. But maybe you don't necessarily need that. There's maybe like a more stripped down version of it, which is just like a really good wallet.
Is there something you would need to carry around in addition to your phone? Because if so, you could just use your phone.
If you're enjoying the video and want the chance to win a phone free A, just comment below and hit that subscribe button to be in for a chance to win. Make sure to check out the terms and conditions in the description. Best of luck.
Sort of interpreting your design choices, it looks like you've basically shrunk wrapped a battery and a cheek oil, and that's given you this shape, and then given that the same silhouette as the phone too.
I actually think in this instance, the glyphs might work, because by clipping on a charger, you're obscuring a lot of those LEDs, right? So mirroring them through the new product onto that back surface makes a lot of sense. But if I was to do that, it would have to be precisely the same. It would be an exact mirror, just a few millimeters taller. I think I would use one of these.
Sustainability is a big part of what we're trying to do here. So I think maybe looking at this from, okay, can I use the existing chassis? You know, we've already produced these. It's not a huge deal just to produce more to make a second product. Take the existing chassis, cut it, make a new product from it, I think would be really cool. But what you've done here is really nice.
I do wonder how it's getting secured in place. There doesn't seem to be like a guide or any kind of clamp to kind of put it into place. Could be quite annoying if you keep slipping, since the phones have like a glass back or a plastic back.
This side profile one I love because you can see how he's matched the thickness, the materials, and just, it feels like a perfect pairing of products. I love little LEDs coming out of aluminum frames, by the way. The old MacBooks that used to have a little battery indicator on the side where you press the button and you get a little chain of LEDs. I love that.
Salt and pepper shakers. White one for salt, black one for pepper. That could be it.
It looks like a cube speaker, yeah. But I think just the harmony of it as an object you could work on. Because if I sit it on the top, suddenly the nothing logo is upside down.
Acoustic volume is a really important factor to achieving good sound, and importantly, good bass. On this design, I would challenge the designer to use all of that volume, because otherwise you're just limiting the performance of the product for styling.
It's not that I don't like this grill, it's just I think that is the most striking part of any speaker. I've spoken quite a lot about hierarchy and like near read and far read, and at the moment, my near read isn't the grill. I'm sort of going to the clear body of the speaker, whereas I think I should be going to where the sound comes from first and looking there and then looking at the rest of the thing.
I don't think it's very nothing. Controversial maybe. Our industrial design team like to have a lot of asymmetry in our products. That said, in its own right, it's a very lovely project.
Maybe there's already enough speakers in the world and there's not enough salt and pepper shakers. Maybe they could be both.